My soul needed a savage friend, a weird daredevil, but do you mend? My life became a dead end. Big C got me on the wrong track. Fought the cancer in a cul-de-sac. Lean says bite back. On life's jacked racetrack we react. Lacking the cool, but we lean and we lose. 안녕하세요. 저는 루입니다. I'm Lou.
안녕하세요. 저는 리안입니다. I'm Lean. What's with you and these wee soft, sweet greetings right after being like, let's just talk and crap and let's have banter, and you're like, 안녕하세요. You're like the M&S advert woman.
I can't help it. The minute I have to talk to a camera, like my voice changes.
Your telephone voice comes on. You're like, hello, Louise.
I'm like
Louise's
RM.
telephone line.
RM has his public voice and his private voice. I'm like that, except my private voice is like I'm like a man, like.
That's what I laugh at, because we're talking and chatting, and you're like, oh, and then you're like, 안녕하세요. 저는 루이스입니다. It's like day and night. It's so funny every time.
Oh my gosh, that's funny. Okay, so we're watching BTS choreography today, so you don't have to focus on the music, you don't have to focus on lyrics, just enjoy them doing their practice moves, their brilliant moves that they do, using their bodies as instruments. There's kind of like two, you might have seen clips from some of this, but I'm not sure. There's two that we're watching. This one's like a more serious one of them rehearsing to, this isn't one of their songs, this was just a like mix that they did. And then the other one I think is just a funny one that they did for Halloween or something. I can't remember what the other one is, but
Okay. So it's an excuse to stare at them.
Yes. And put the volume up so you can hear the music nicely, and yeah.
Okay. Right,
Perfect.
ready?
Yes.
As loud as it goes.
Cool.
You just read from inside, mentally, but if you still feel your heart beating, what you waiting for? Get up. Come on, boy. Are you ready? Let's go.
I'm just pausing there before it ends because, damn, that's a lot of hours of rehearsal.
It is, hey?
I was mentally trying to calculate it there, knowing how long it took us to learn one move, two move, how many times we would do that before adding the next move, and thinking this is a long-ass choreo, and like how precision perfect it is. It's not rehearsal, just learning perfect. It's precision perfect, meaning they've already mastered it, and this is a practice. That's a lot of hours in the studio learning this crap.
It's insane. It is insane. And I love the way that they do theatrics with this as well. I love it so much. They do such a good job. And this is when they were like younger. This is like an earlier one. And they take it really seriously, and they do such a good job with it. It's
Well, a
incredible.
lot of people that don't dance won't know, right? So if you're a trained dancer like Jimenez, learning choreo is actually really fast and really quick. You're attuned to it, you're accustomed to it. There's a lot of terms that are used in dancing for certain moves that you would think, all right, I know that move. But the people that are not trained dancers, it takes a heck of a long time Like, we weren't trained dancers, and it would take us a long, long time to learn the choreo for one song. But the level that they learn and the fact that some of them do actually struggle with dancing, it's always impressive to me how much of an oiled machine they are.
Yeah.
Like, knowing that, especially people like Jen, who's very much like me when it comes to dancing, needs extra time, takes longer to get it, needs extra practice. That was me. I needed way more help. Because we did have a trained dancer in our band too, who immediately got it and could see the choreo once and they could just do it. And then the rest of us were like, we're on the first move. How does this go again? Could you show us that like 10 more times? Not even joking. It's a long, it looks like it would be easy because they make it look easy, but I can see that is hard ass choreo.
Yeah. That's hours and hours and hours and hours and days and days and
Yeah,
days of
that's
work.
weeks in that
Yeah.
place. That is like the precision, how on time they are. Like, they are such an oil machine. That doesn't come from just a few practices, man.
No.
That is like all day, every day in that studio for like a week solid and not getting more than like 4 hours sleep.
Exactly.
Take it from someone who knew. Ready?
Ready? I mean, that's insane.
Today will be exactly what you will be. Right.
Yay.
They make that look so freaking easy, but the amount of fast-paced steps in it, like the first bit I noticed that really was like, they've worked hard, was when they got up from the floor and they had to run into their space to be ready for the first set of steps. As they were getting into space, they were already in the choreo, but it was fluid and faultless. Like, you couldn't even see the transition, and these are non-trained dancers. I was like, I would totally have fell over whoever was next to me. Trip! But just put that in the choreo from now on, because you know that's going to happen every single time. I have to run sideways.
I know, I totally agree
They're
with you.
so impressive.
They are. They're so impressive. Every time, like, this is the thing with BTS, and it's the same reason why I like all the other the bands that we listen to, is that they're like,
Oh, it's not pausing. Sorry.
they're like, they dimensionally, like in every aspect, they're excellent. You know, their choreography is excellent. Like, they don't slack off with anything.
No.
Their singing's perfect. They're like, everything that they do is such attention to detail, which I love.
It is. I don't think they get enough credit for their choreo, to be honest.
Yeah.
Because I see a lot of people always talking about their lyrics or music. I rarely ever hear people talking about their damn hard ass choreo.
Yeah.
The level of skill. Like, I know there's a lot of K-pop bands that are like equally like skilled, but
Well,
it's hard. It's not something that comes easy, especially to the untrained. These are not kids that have been dancing since they were like knee high to a grasshopper. These are kids that learn to dance as adult teenagers.
Yeah, it is. And I think even RM said that, like, the difference that they wanted to do is, like, obviously, like, there's a dancing in K-pop, but their bodies are instruments, so they have to be precise instruments. And so, like, when Big Hit said, okay, you're doing choreography, they were like, well, let's do it as the best we could be in the industry. You know, it's incredible.
Especially when you know some of them have injuries like Sugar.
Yeah.
A few hiccups. And we're completely against even doing any kind of dancing, to now be like voluntarily doing the choreo in his song with Psy, where he wasn't even supposed to be part of the choreo lineup, and he learned it just from watching them that day at rehearsals and joined in.
Yeah. And you know, like, everyone says, oh, he's had the surgery. His shoulder's still not great. And I know that because I've had like a similar surgery to what Sugar had 20 years ago, and my shoulder's never going to be okay. My shoulder still gives me problems 20 years later. I can't imagine the amount of pain I would be in if I had to do the amount of choreography he does every day, even after shoulder rehab. So
Same. I have a knee injury that happened when I was like 15 years old that caused me a lot of bother when we were dancing as teenagers. And even to this day, if I go somewhere like a party and I dance for 5 hours straight, I cannot walk the next day. Sometimes I can't even walk halfway through the night, but that's what alcohol's for. So, oh, knee hurts. That'll be a double. Thank you very much. I'll worry about it tomorrow when the alcohol wears off. But yeah, I can't even imagine having to deliberately use an injury like that to do time after time the same hard choreo, rehearsals, shows. Oh my God, it just gives me pain even thinking about it.
I know, they have such determination, and the fact is, like nowadays they're well established, they've proven themselves, they're like multi-millionaires, they're shareholders or whatever in Hybe. They don't have to continue pushing like that, but they still do. I mean,
they strive for perfection. They made their name, and they're keeping with everything that they've built for themselves by continuing to deliver that same level, that same standard.
They are, and they're passionate. Like that's their passion is music. So
I would just cry every time they made me dance on my sore knee. Don't make me do it. I'm old now. Please don't. Right. Okay, This is their intro performance trailer. So what's this one?
This is like another special choreography they've done. I don't know the details about it, so Army, you can educate us in the comments. But yeah, I kind of like it's a different performance, that it's not part of like their normal, like their playlist songs kind of thing, discography.
Okay, so just another excuse to stare at them. I see what you're doing today.
I thought after doing Spring Day reaction, let's do some light stuff. So that's what we're doing. So.
Let's just stare at them throwing their very toned bodies around.
Yes,
is what you were thinking.
What we're doing.
Very good camera. This is just bringing back my Officer and Gentleman obsession days. Do you remember that movie?
Yeah.
I have never, ever in my life liked Richard Gere, but that movie made me have a moment of doubt.
I know, that's exactly what I got from this. They're doing a really good job.
Like an officer and a gentleman right there. Like, just go pick up the girl off the factory floor and just throw her over your shoulder, take her out, and like, what are you doing to me, Louise?
I know.
I'm too old for this crap. Ready?
Ready.
Behavior. Never mind. Go crazy.
Up in the 70s, 80s, baby, I'm a bust to the death of me. No sanity left of me, middle fingers up to haters who slap on me. Oh no, you naysayers, you take it back, stick your banners ain't having that. Then you up for later, you backpacking, backstabbing, never on different rap.
I have to say though, how annoying it would be to dance in the jackets. One of the songs we did, we had to wear fitted jackets. It was, do you remember the song Man, I Feel Like a Woman?
Yes.
We did a cover of that, right? And we had these fitted black jackets with like sequins all down them. These were the most restrictive things ever, and we had a full choreo for that. So it's quite an upbeat song, lots of arms in the air and everything. You also know how women's clothes are made. When they're form-fitting and restrictive, you cannot lift your arms up while wearing a jacket like that. As you can see, theirs are unbuttoned for a reason.
Yeah. They're still battling with it, even with it unbuttoned,
Yeah, well, we had to do a whole choreo in a buttoned up because there wasn't very much underneath it. Fitted jackets, as energetic as this.
That's insane.
And you ended up with it. Girls have these things on the front of them. So if a form-fitting jacket that is buttoned rides up enough, it ends up above them. And it's not that easy to pull down when your choreo has your arms and a microphone and your jacket is up here. That's kind of what happened.
You're getting PTSD.
Flashbacks, yeah, of having to pull that jacket down like it's like halfway through the song every 5 minutes. Yeah, so it's very understandable. Their jackets are unbuttoned here. Very understandable. Can you imagine trying to pull that crap down every 5 minutes?
Oh.
You. Like you
reminds me of, have you ever seen the UK dance troupe? Oh, what was their name? Diversity? Was it they called
Oh, I think that
Diversity?
maybe once or twice I've seen the clips on YouTube.
They have a choreo where they do that with the machine gun.
Oh, they do?
And I don't know who came first, the BTS or Diversity, because I'm kind of on the fence here because Diversity are at least 10 years old. So
Which came first?
who did first? But yeah, the first time I seen Diversity was on Britain's Got Talent, I think, where they did their debut. And I'm pretty sure that is the performance where they do the machine gun.
I think that this is a cover as well. So this isn't like BTS hasn't claimed this is theirs. Like it's a
I wonder
cover.
if it's the same song.
Could be. It could be a cover of that. So
maybe. See, no, it's the weirdest
but
things.
I like the way they selected Sugar to be the
gun
engineer. His little savage attitude, you could see it just shine right through. So
Kelly, they did not do those guys justice by putting those white tight trousers on them for this song. There's a lot of groin movement in this song. I can only imagine the wedgies and the. I did notice though that they gave them rubber mats to dance on because see those shiny ass shoes? They are killer on a polished dance floor.
Yeah, I can just imagine.
I have seen many dancers fall on shoes like that, many acts and performances on stages. They gave them rubber mats. I was very considerate of them.
Yeah.
Right, ready?
Ready.
Tell me what you gonna do now. Hands up, hands down. Tell me what you gonna do now. Keep rolling, 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 rolling. Keep rolling, 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 rolling. Keep rolling, 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 rolling. Keep rolling, 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 rolling.
That song speaks to my little rock heart.
Oh, what are they doing now? This is you know what this is called? So what? I don't know if you want to run through all of this. They're doing it at different angles, and then they're doing different like rollbacks on it. So they're showing the different camera work that they do with it. So they've got the song, but they're doing different versions of it.
So do you really want to watch J-Hope's pelvic thrust in different angles?
Yes, for sure.
Say no more. Say no more.
Just enjoy it.
Never mind.
Oh, the BTS
Go
flag.
crazy.
You know what it's like? It's like going to the Edinburgh Tattoo.
That's exactly it. Yeah, you're right. It's got that feel
I have
to it.
lived and breathed being the daughter of military, and the Edinburgh Castle was at one point our appointed to live place.
Oh, yeah. They have the Durban tattoo in South Africa, which is the same but smaller in South Africa, which is kind of linked in a way. So it reminds me of that too.
Do you know what? I'm bummed though. The Korean military has been in the Edinburgh Tattoo several times, including the last one. And all the years the Korean military has been there is the years that I have never seen.
Oh, that's annoying and frustrating.
They had a really good one. Was it last year? Was it last year, the tattoo? Or was it the year before? I can't remember. The last one. They had a performance by the Korean military that was epic. You can find it on YouTube. You should look it up. It was the most epic display from the Korean military. It took in ancestral, traditional dancing. It took in mad costumes, everything. It was a masterpiece. And I had to watch it online because I wasn't there.
So that would be the 2023 Edinburgh.
I'm not sure if it's last year because I think they're not every year. I think. Okay. I have to look it up. I honestly do not know if they're every year or every 2 years.
We'll put the link below so you can check it out.
Yeah, the Korean military at the Edinburgh Tattoo, the last one. It might not even be the last one because I live in a bubble. I've not gone outside in like 5 years. It could have been like 10 years ago. The last one that I watched online, I will find it and put a link below because it is epic and I'm so gutted that I did not get to see it.
Aww.
Right. Oh, we have for those that watch us that don't know, Scotland and Korea actually have a really good relationship. We have many, many Koreans that live here. We have Korean memorials and we have Korean students and a really good history with Korea. So that's something you didn't know.
Learn something new.
Right.
Up in the 70s, 80s, baby, I'm a bust to the death of me. No sanity left of me, middle fingers up to haters who slap on me. Oh no, you naysayers, you take it back. The stinking manners ain't having that. Then you up for later, you backpacking, backstabbing, never no different rap. You. Like you go insane. Everything you think is not the same.
J-Hope's such a good dancer. Sorry, but he's so good. They all are, but he's brilliant. Here we go.
The backing dancers are on point too.
They are. They must have practiced the from 10 months.
You know, the reality is the backing dancers probably only took a day.
Yeah. Well, you know what the thing for me is like, I never know where BTS finds the time for stuff, because they do the BTS Run episodes, they do In the Soup, they do Bon Voyage. That's a full-time that's like 2 full-time jobs on their own. Then they do their discography, which is like they've made over 350 songs. They write all their songs, they produce all their songs, they do these extra projects on the side, and then they do live show, huge, massive pageants of live performance, which we still need to get through. They are insane. Like, I don't even know where they find the time. They never sleep.
Maybe they just all have ADHD.
Maybe they're aliens from another planet.
I mean, we say that, right? But when you list all the stuff we get through in a week, sometimes it is very plausible that we could do that much if we were their age and had been doing it for 10 years.
True, that's
like,
true.
If I go back 10 years to my 30s, I was doing that much, just not performing. Like, I was doing events and stuff and shows and to do my business as well as working every day. Like, I was doing crap loads. They do get downtime, obviously. It's just there's a lot more physical rehearsals involved in what they do than the average person. But I suppose that would be akin to me lugging all my stuff into trucks and trailers, setting up the big marquees myself, lugging all the products down and then putting it all away after 3 days of being on my feet. So, I mean, they are fit.
They are.
If you want to do something, you have passion for it, you fit it in and you make the time.
Yeah, and plus they have a whole team behind them, to help them with everything. So I agree. And also, we also underestimate ourselves as authors, how much we write. Like people are like... But
I'm over here breaking us up like we did freaking loads, and you're like, oh, we don't hardly. We did freaking loads, women. Okay,
we do. Because I was talking to so I go and see a therapist for the cancer, by the way, guys. So I was seeing my therapist the other day, and I was saying to her, "Oh my gosh, I need to do more. I need to do this." She's like, "Girl, how many books have you written? That's insane. Not many people in the population have even written a freaking essay, never mind a whole book. You've written you've written 15 books." She's like, "That's crazy." And you think of the time it takes to write one book and how much effort goes into one book. And you can be like, okay, well, actually, that is a lot of work that in retrospect. And I suppose with BTS it's the same. It's they've written and produced 350, 400 songs, which in retrospect is a lot, but I guess when you're going through it on a day-to-day basis, you don't feel it. So
especially when some of their songs they wrote in 10 minutes.
Yeah,
RM's wrote a song and he's breathed one out. He's just I was in the toilet there now, and I've got a whole new song.
Yeah, that's true. I think some of them, like us with books, some take longer and more thought and take months, and others take quick. Like I think Sugar was mentioning his process, saying that like he battled on his album with some of the songs, and like he even booked a time away in a sanctuary to just go and sit and stare at nature and write. But then when he came back from that, he didn't like any of the stuff. So then he went and like he went to a hospital to have an IV and stuff done because he was sick. And then he wrote within like an afternoon the song that he had battled for weeks trying to do, separately.
Yeah.
So it
I
goes
think
like
you
that.
underestimate your abilities. Think about your schedule. Think about you've been going for hospital treatments, you've been going for therapy. You work 1 day a week where you have to go for a team meeting. You also run around doing all your errands. You do daytime jobs during the day, as well as the lean and loose stuff we film every 2 weeks. You do the subtitles and the editing, the social media posts. We also interact with each other constantly, as well as interacting with other people online. Like, I don't think you realize how many hours of your day go into your job and how much you actually physically run around doing because you're living it, and they'll be the same. They probably don't realize what they do is like a heavy workload because they're used to it. It is their schedule, it is their life.
Yeah.
They probably juggle it in the same way we juggle ours. We still have downtime sometimes, occasionally,
true.
once a month. The times that we do have downtime, we message each other being like, I
Guilty.
feel so unproductive. I'm not doing anything. I'm watching a K-drama. I feel like I'm cheating. And we're literally just taking like 1 hour after a month of
Yeah.
downtime. So yeah, you can imagine they probably have the same kind of schedules we have. Only
Yeah.
theirs are more physical.
Yeah, because Lynn and I don't get weekends off. We just work. Like, there's no holidays for us or anything. So when we do, like, tomorrow's my birthday and I'm already feeling guilty about taking the day off, So, but yeah, we do the same. But I also think BTS works harder than many people in the industry as well. So they've already created that hectic schedule for themselves from when they were in the debut years where they only slept like 3 or 4 hours a night. So I don't think they've ever slacked off on that really. Maybe
They're having a very long holiday right now.
Yeah.
The army's going to be a piece of cake compared to what they normally do. We're like, at least they'll be going to their bed at the same time every night. They'll be like,
Exactly.
oh, 9 o'clock bedtime. Like, this has not happened in 11 years.
Yeah, they'll get like strict regular sleep, which they haven't had in forever. So
Exactly. It's downtime for them.
yeah,
So yeah. Right, you ready?
ready.
Hands up, hands down. Tell me what you gonna do now. Hands up, hands down. Tell me what you gonna do now.
Wow, they
Keep rolling, rolling, keep rolling, 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 rolling. Keep rolling, 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 rolling. Keep rolling, 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 rolling.
That's crazy. They look so good in that uniform.
I mean, how many military-based romance books have you wrote, Louise? There's
Like
a reason.
8, 9, yeah. I was in that world for so long, so yeah.
Right here on screen is the reason girls go gaga for a man in uniform. Just saying. They don't even need to dance. They just have to stand there. Sadly. This is why you go... Okay, I've never been, I swear. This is just what someone told me. When you go to male strip shows that I've never ever been to, ever, or, get a stripper at your birthday party, that... I can't lie, so wait. That never happened at my birthday party. That's a good way around it, see? They usually dress in uniforms for a reason.
Yeah, that's true.
Because I've never been to a strip joint, and I never had a stripper at my birthday. That's how I know.
That's how you know. Make me laugh. In all fairness, though, like it's like I see.
Actually, that's a lie. I have been to a strip joint, but it wasn't a boy one.
So quick story. Like I see the appeal in it, but I think like when I was dating my ex, he trained special forces. He trained the FBI, trained the CIA. He did all these.
I've seen her videos. like,
Yeah.
no wonder she's a romance writer of the military. Just saying.
I know I used to hang with special forces guys all the time, but the only time I was super impressed was I went to a training camp with FBI agents and special forces guys and all these like covert Delta teams and stuff, and I watched them all do hand-to-hand combat and stuff in their uniforms, and that was super impressive. I was like, that is impressive. That is impressive.
If you want to see some hot military people that, I mean, very, very well trained army men doing their job, that Louise was not ogling over. There's a video on her Korean channel of footage that she took while she was with them doing a photo shoot, being professional and not ogling in the slightest. And it in no way made her want to write military romance books. Just another day on the job. But, you know, if you want to see that with some American special forces, not hot in any way, just looking professional, we'll put a link as a comment for you to educate yourself on the military and not ogle at hot, unhot military. Like, we're not ogling BTS now, we're just appreciating their skill and uniforms.
Oh, I used to do big cookouts in the house because Jeff would have all his friends from like Delta Force friends come over, and so we would have these guys that were so under the radar, special forces. Like it was.
Did you ever think, damn, why did I get married?
Well, no, yes and no, yes and no. Well, my ex trained them, so he was one of them. So I guess, but like, there's something interesting though about those special forces guys, the Delta ones, the Delta
Interesting. Okay, it's their intellect and their sparkling conversation. Of course, it is, Louise.
Let me get my thought out. So they're like interesting because they're dead in the eyes. They've seen so much. They're
like you were staring at their eyes. Maybe that's the problem. Maybe you weren't actually looking at their eyes. So in your memory, they were dead in eyes because you have no real, actual human memory of what their eyes looked like.
They were like 7 foot tall, muscular dudes with these dead eyes, and then they'd be like holding their little newborn baby with their wife next to them, and their little like, and it was like weird. It was just weird. They look like they're the guys you see in the Rambo movies type thing. But they're like there with their little baby and their little family. Like it was kind of interesting. But yeah, those were the married ones. But yeah, it was interesting because like I'm cured now after I'm divorced of that whole like the men in uniform thing. I'm immune to it now. I'm vaccinated.
Are you now?
I am.
Well, I just press play and let's see how immune you are to the men in uniform.
Okay, BTS is the only exception. Those 7 men are the only exception on the planet to not being immune to. But I'm vaccinated against all others. So that's all I'm going to say.
You know what's funny? They are currently in the military. They are actual military men.
They are.
So you clearly do still have a thing for military men.
I do not. I appreciate their skill and their singing. I'm too old for that. I'm an Ajuma. So.
Ajuma.
I say Ajuma. Why do I say Ajuma? Ajuma.
Because you're weird acting like you're pizza and
I'm a Nuno.
Please say Evanescence again because that's the funniest thing I've ever.
Evanescence.
Oh, you've changed how you said it.
Evanescence.
What even is that? You just gave the band a whole new name.
Evanescence.
My little Evanescence bones were twitching the first time I heard you say that. It sounded like you renamed them after a water.
You make me laugh.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Behavior. Never mind. Go crazy.
Up in the 70s, 80s, baby, I'm a bust to the death of me. No sanity left for me, middle fingers up to haters who slap on me. Oh no, you naysayers, you take it back. The stinking matters ain't having that. Then you up for later, you backpacking, backstabbing, never on different rap. You. Like you go insane.
Wait. We're getting a close-up here, Louise, of J-Hope's pelvic thrust. Control yourself. I know you're into military men in uniforms. And we're very close this time. Almost eye level.
I'm not. It's like they're too young for me. They're kids. But I do appreciate their skill, though.
I'm going to be watching which direction your eyes are pointing at.
You're the one that's J-Hope soft at the moment, so don't look at me.
No, It's not J-Hope soft in a, oh, he's another squidgy. It's J-Hope soft in a, I totally would be his bestie.
That's me.
You're a liar.
I am. No, that's me. I want to be besties with all of them.
I know you're having
No.
shaky moments of your two biases, and you're like, do I have three? Do I have three? Whereas I'm just like, sugar bias, J-Hope, will you just be my best friend?
Yeah. I appreciate them all
I'll
for
be
their
your
skills.
bestie.
Yeah, I appreciate them
see.
for their skills.
I'm watching the direction of your eye. I am like a freaking FBI. I
I'm
will
like-
follow the direction of your pupils.
I'm Grandma Lou. You don't have to worry about anything with me. So.
I bet your eyes are on J-Hope.
It's not the
Oh, you get your sugar there.
Yeah, what was that? Best angle, my butt. That was the worst angle. Didn't even get top of his freaking head.
Got no sugar. Sorry for you.
You gave us 2 J-Hope pelvic thrusts and sacrificed Sugar's face.
No sugar in your
That
tea.
That is
Sorry
not
for you.
acceptable. I'm going to write a letter to the commissionary person of music videos and camera angles and make a formal complaint.
Yeah.
How dare they?
How dare they?
How dare they? How dare they?
Go Jimin.
Tell me what you gonna do now. Hands up, hands down. Tell me what you gonna do now. Keep rolling, 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 rolling on. Keep rolling, 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 rolling on. Keep rolling, 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 rolling. Keep rolling, 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 rolling.
Yay!
I'll just let the credits play out. I'll just turn it down. Do you know what though? BTS, right? Normally when you watch a dance choreo, there's always one dancer that draws your eye. There's always either the center person or the person that has the moves is better than the rest. They always draw your eye. When you watch BTS, it is near damn impossible to watch a singular one of them. It's not because they're moving out all the time. It's because they're so equally good at it that you don't know who to watch.
Yeah. It's amazing. It is. And that's why they're so entertaining, because you can get a little bit of everything from watching each one of them, you know, and they have a different style. The only thing that makes me sad about it is that the fan cams that they do, which is where they focus on one, like during a song, they'll just focus on one member doing choreography, is the views for like the younger members are way higher than the ones for like the older members, and it annoys me because they all equally do such a good job, you know. So
They do. Like I can never, when we watch any kind of choreo from them, I can never focus on just one.
yeah,
Like there's not one that I would say, oh, he's the best dancer.
yeah,
Because they're all equally good. They're all freaking impressive.
yeah. And that applies for everything that they do. Singing, like they're all got different skills, you know. That's why they work so well together, you know. They sync so well together. I can't imagine BTS with one less member or having a different member in this, you know.
Do you know what? I was thinking about this the other day. I was thinking way back to the first conversation we ever had about BTS. And it was in our K-Love group where I was like, you know what? I don't really know anything about BTS, but I knew who Suga was. And I remember writing in the post, Suga is so damn cute. And his music's really good. But for some reason, I feel like I just would not gel with V. And you were right in there. You were like, V is the best thing. That was the first conversation we ever had about BTS. And I can't even remember what stirred me to even write it. I think I'd seen one singular episode of BTS. Is it BTS Run?
Run.
Is it the one where they were given tasks to do and Suga had to meditate or something and RM had to do something with flour? I can't remember. And I remember being like, I only watched it for Sugar. And you were so offended. You gave me a BTS freaking dressing down in our group, and you were like, I will send you links. That is what actually started the BTS barrage of links. We weren't even really good friends at the time. We just kind of knew each other. And I was like, oh, there's one of them army folk I've clearly offended, because you started sending me so many BTS links trying to prove to me that V was the bestest. And you know what's funny? Is that V has the same exact birthday as my other half, and he reminds me so much of him. They're like very, very similar. So I think that's why I was like, I don't think me and V would get on, because I live with a V. And only 90% of the time he's like, in fact, 90% of the time I think he's a bit of a twat. So 10% of the time I like him, but the rest of the time I'm just like, meh, whatever. That was the very first time.
That was funny because I had to educate her on BTS, okay? Because like
nah, Sugar, he's fine. That's all I need. Sugar.
She came in brand new army, knowing she just liked one member and knowing nothing about the rest.
I wasn't even army. I was an August D stan.
She was an
I was just like, I only watched it because I seen Sugar in the clip.
In all fairness, you weren't even an August D fan, because I don't even think you knew August D either. You just saw a dude meditating in a Run episode.
A couple of his songs. I just remember I said to you, the only one I know is Sugar.
Yeah.
That's the only one I could even recognize. And I'm like, I don't know who the rest of them are. It was only because that one episode I clicked that someone was called V.
And then from that one episode, she had the audacity to start like rating them. And I was like, ooh.
It wasn't by looks, it was by the personalities in that show as to who I thought I would get on with.
Yeah, that's what it was. And I was like, OT7 girl, you need to know who these people are. And so,
I'm fine, I've just got Sugar.
And I just I like spammed her because she was like saying, because you said something about V. I can't remember what you said, but you said
I don't think I'd get on with him.
No, you said something else though. You said something about his personality that like wasn't quite who he was, and I was like, no, but that's not who he is. You got to see.
He seemed very standoffish, and
she said he seems very standoffish, and I was like,
in that video, that episode though, he did, and the one at the part I watched, it was like, it wasn't even the full episode. It was like a cut down version on YouTube, and he seemed very standoffish and very introverted and very reserved, and I was like, oh, I just wouldn't go on with him.
Yeah, and I was like, no, you got to see who V's really like. So
he's exactly like my other half, and I'm like, oh, for fake sake.
I think that's actually what started our friendship, was her poking the Bora Bear.
No, it was you getting catfished by a K-pop fake. That's what.
Don't turn that on me. It was you getting catfished, and you brought me into it.
Excuse me. You told me you had found them on. Was it TikTok? I went and friended them because you had already friended them, because I was being nosy as fuck.
But then they try to catfish you, and
but I kept saying to you, this is a catfish.
Yeah, no, the jury's out on that one.
We sound like an Omari couple arguing over how we met. Who proposed to who? They said, I love you first. It was you. You did, right?
Let's just agree it was a catfish and BTS that brought us together. So that's what it was. So
it was not at all that Louise was getting catfished by it.
I was not getting catfished. He tried to catfish me, and I was like, look at this girl. And then
it was a joint effort of us trying to dupe him, though.
We were trying to catch a catfish. That's what we were trying to do.
Catch a catfish.
Let's just be clear. None of us ever got duped by a catfish, or even nearly. We were like, oh, this is a catfish. Let's play with them.
That was that. And also us taking bets on how many conversations it would take before they asked us for money. It took 2 weeks.
It took 2 whole weeks. It was a good
We were surprised. 2 weeks to ask us for money.
Yeah. Okay. That was
that was the first conversation about BTS, and look where we are now. I know all their names.
Yeah, no, now we run a business together. Isn't that crazy? So
what's more impressive is that I also know all their star signs. I never thought that would happen.
I know you fell down the rabbit hole, so.
God damn you, Louise.
I know. You're still not down the rabbit hole. You're still clinging to the sides.
I'm only halfway. But as I've said before, I think I am not a fangirl. I am someone that's always been like a halfway. Like, even though I love like One Ok Rock and that, I'm still only a halfway fan.
Yeah.
I'll never be one of these people that get fully submerged in one band because I'm ADHD.
Yeah.
My taste and my what I want to listen to that day, what I want to do, who I like, it changes like the weather.
No, I agree with you. And I feel like even me, I'm not like completely 100%. Like I have, you know, it's part of a good influence in my life, and it's music I enjoy. But yeah, we're not like crazy fans. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
there's no I mean, there are crazy fans like say songs and stuff. There's not crazy fans, but like
I
we're not
mean,
committed. Put it that way. We're not committed fans. Put it that way.
give me enough time and no other hobbies, I could pretty much become a crazy.
We're
Lock
too
me in a
busy for
room with
those shite.
nothing but BTS content. I could become a crazy.
That's the thing, is you've got to have a healthy balance in life of like, but I also think you and I, we've met so many celebrities and worked with so many celebrities, and we're kind of jaded.
Yeah,
So
I think that's what it is. It takes the shine off it. Having been in that industry, I don't look at idols the way some people do. I don't
yeah,
look at them. They're like, oh my god, this
yeah,
amazing, spangly, perfect. Like I look at them the way that I knew the people around me while I was in that industry, and that what you see is not the whole picture. That
yeah,
the personality that you're being served, even if they are the nicest person on the planet, you're still only being served 10% of what they want you to
exactly.
see. You're being served a persona.
Yeah,
And what goes on behind the scenes are real humans, real people with real lives and real problems. And they have bad days too. And they're not
yeah,
the perfection that you see on your screen. And
yeah,
most of it is also makeup. So
yeah, exactly. I totally agree. We try and stand good people, but you just never know truly if somebody's a good person. You can
we
only do.
stand good. But Lena's also really shallow. And if they have a good voice and they're kind of hot and they maybe have a tattoo or two,
Yeah,
she's gone.
yeah.
Sorry.
Sorry, but like, and I think for us it's the love of music. It's mostly like the voices, and then and following them for like their talent. Is like, I can't follow somebody who's not super talented, sorry, but like they need to have something that draws me in. Sorry, I put my
Some
lights on
depth.
because it's about a storm here again, so I've got to go get the gift you gave me in the post box, the
I will make you
mailbox.
crawl on your knees in the snow to go and get that,
I
seeing as you never
will.
went and picked it up.
I'll go in the snow now and get the gift. It's like, as I said in the previous video, it's 2 blocks away. I have to go to get my mail. So
Did they try to make that sound long? It's
I'm
not
going to
long.
film the walk there
It's
and
like the length
come
of
back.
10 houses. That's not even long. That's like you're an Ajama. That's what you are.
She was
10
blaming me
houses
for
is
not
not
getting it
long.
earlier.
I
But
passed 10 houses just going to the post box,
if
and that's like
my hair's naturally curly. If I'd gone earlier to pick your gift up that you gave me, I would be back with like curly hair just at the
I
top.
bet I could have walked to Utah, picked up your gift, and deposited it, and came back and sat down. Freaking. Next time I'll just do that. I'll get up and I'll go and freaking get it for you, deposit, and then come back again.
Okay.
Okay?
I promise you I'm going to get your gift now. So after we finished filming.
You have to, because it's the most random thing ever.
Okay,
It has
now
no sense of rhyme or reason. You'll open it and be like,
what is
okay.
this? Yeah, I'm going to do it now before you go to sleep. So
Okay.
we are very ADHD today, and we have now done with our reaction, which was 48 minutes long. And
Yeah, but it was a very long choreo that we had to appreciate and not ogle those
yeah.
men in
And
uniform.
we just had a good, nice BTS hangout now, because we felt like we haven't done a proper BTS hangout with you guys for a while since we did the on video. So this is nice. The the spring day video is too traumatic to just hang out, but we're hanging out now. So hanging out with our Bora Bears. That's what we do.
So you're getting all our pent up chat that we normally reserve for between videos, but we were kind of busy today, so we've just went video. So now you're just getting the middle chat.
The middle
that
chat.
normally doesn't make it to videos.
Exactly. What we want to ask you though is, if you're Army, how did you, like, Lean explained her story about how she came across BTS and how she learned about
No,
the
that's
members.
not how I came across them.
No.
That's just how I came to become harassed and bullied by you into becoming Army.
In a purple prison cube. But we
I
want
didn't know who Sugar was.
Yeah. But we want to know from you guys how you like fell into the BTS rabbit hole. Tell us about
Do
your
you want my
story.
very first time that I actually laid eyes on BTS and like Sugar?
I'm gonna guess it's the meditation video. Was it not? Run episode, no.
Mm-mm.
What was
The
it?
very first time that I had any inclination of who BTS was and heard their names and saw a little tiny bit of their personality that made me then search out Sugar, which then led me to August D, was when they did, what's his name? Is it James Corden? No, was it that show? They did a show where they had to stand behind the screen and not be afraid when they were pelting things at the screen.
Was it Jimmy Fallon?
Jimmy Fallon, maybe. And Sugar was motionless, Mr. Non-flinching. J-Hope was very screamy, as you would expect. But they stood behind like perspex and they got like fruit fired at them. And I was like, that dude is unflinchable. He's my kind of dude. Who is that dude? He's very cute. I'm going to look him up. And that was my first ever impression of BTS, which was half of them scream and half of them are really unbothered. But there's that one dude that doesn't even blink. He's the cool one.
That
was it.
Into it. I can't remember. I wish it was a significant moment for me, but I think what actually happened was I watched some K-dramas which got me in the algorithm, and then I saw a random BTS TikTok, and then I just started watching TikToks, so I didn't get into their music first.
See, prior to that, though, I had heard of BTS, and I'd heard some of their songs come on the radio, but I hadn't really paid any attention, and I knew the general opinion of most Scottish people was BTS suck. Like, that's all I'd ever heard. So, like, there was no, like, urging me to go search them out to see who they were, because all I ever heard people was bitching about them.
Yeah.
And then I seen them on Jimmy Fallon, and then I was like,
Yeah. That was your story. So what is your story? How did you fall into the BTS rabbit hole? We'd like to hear from you guys. So
yeah. Were you as shallow as Lean and chased a face? That's what happened.
Chase the kitty cat.
Yeah, it's like, oh, he's hot. He doesn't flinch. He's way too young for me. I'll just be a fan instead.
Yeah, that's it.
That's pretty much it. Okay, so that was a long ass choreo video, and now we're going. So goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.
You did a good job, Leanie.
Please don't.
Hey, fan bears. So fluffy.
What
so
is
cute.
actually wrong
You ready?
with you? You're
Dance
such a
dance.
freak.
Dance dance.
System failure.
Lean, 사랑해.
Ew.